Good morning, happy Friday. PPI data, not much reaction on the market. Pushed up a little bit and then rolled back over. Here's yesterday's closing price on ES. Um, you just get the sense that the market is getting less and less concerned about the inflation data, even though the PPI numbers on a year-over-year basis were a little bit hot, right? Your regular headline PPI was 1.8 versus 1.7 last month. Your headline PPI month over month was down though. It's just a mixed bag again, but it's showing that there's not a huge uptick. Core PPI up to 2.8 versus 2.4 last month. I want to wait and see what the big boys do with this when we get volume coming in. But right now, here's the closing price yesterday on ES. It pretty much is getting close to pushing back up. It pushed through it this morning. So I'm not seeing any market reaction on the futures market right now, which makes me indicate that we're going to not stop moving up. I think people are now waiting for earnings. We got JP Morgan and Wells Fargo this morning. I believe they both beat. But let's just stick with the technicals for now. I think as long as you can hold 58, I'll call it 58.10. We're still in bullish mode, right? This is a little bit of a choppy in between here. When you get down, so you can see it came down through this area, through this area, through this area. But that's what I have right now as my line of defense, 58.10, 58.11. Depending on what the volume looks like when we get there, it'll be a first place that I would look for puts. Again, we use ES charts a lot to determine index movements, SPY and SPX specifically. If you do go to the SPY, it's pretty clean as well. In fact, it's even cleaner. You had some chop underneath here yesterday. We're looking at the 1 hour, but as you can see on each 1 hour chart, it closed above there, right? So if you're playing really short-term scalping trades, you need to be really concerned when you have a wick that goes that far, because for SPX zero data expiration, it can have a considerable difference on your premium, right? I mean, you're talking about a move from 575-ish to 575.52. That's 5 points on SPX, right? So if I'm playing SPX zero data expirations, I have to take into account low of day, right? Which would give me 574.45. If I'm playing on a swing trade, 574.45 is also a good place where I would look to take a long as this bull market trend, uptrend continues. And if you take a look here at the trend going up, higher highs, we've moved back into what we did for this whole period here. In the last 3 days, we moved back into a channel, so we could stick in this channel now until we get earnings, the bigger earning reports coming out, right? Which is going to be Microsoft and Google and Amazon, Tesla. Nvidia, of course, happens later in the cycle. That it has been the biggest mover and shaker in the market so far. But for today, if I'm thinking about oh, by the way, one other thing, be aware, University of Michigan sentiment preliminaries coming out, their 5-year inflation prelim, 1-year inflation prelim, and their expectations preliminary all coming out as well. That can have a algo effect on the market when the announcement happens, a couple minutes before, through the announcement, and a couple minutes after. It can also have a lasting effect on the day, so be aware. But right now, SPY chart is looking pretty clean in terms of where I would be interested in taking a call for an SPX zero data expiration with a stop immediately underneath it. It's a low risk, high reward trade, right? And this far down, I probably would be looking mid 20s to high 20s on my delta for entry. You can see what's happened up here. It's just, this is all-time highs. It is catching a lot of supply up there. Did yesterday pre-market, did Wednesday near the close. So I would not long into this number. I would long on a break of it. Long on a break and a retest would be beautiful. If we can get a break and a retest of this number, that's a definite long, right? If we can hold it right there. So that's my thoughts on the day using SPY and ES charts. With SPY giving me a much cleaner look today. Sometimes it's just the opposite. Futures dip after PPI data, bank earnings, Tesla falls. Keep reading. Reuters. Tesla falls. Yep, sell the news. We've been talking about that in our community, our trading community for a while. Tesla falling on selling the news, and which makes perfect sense, right? I mean, that's an old axiom, an old saw that you hear in the market all the time. Sell the news. Let's take a look quickly at the chart, see what we got. Yeah. So let's take a look at the 2 hour. Let's take a look at the 4 hour chart here. We had this as resistance. It blew right through it. Yeah. I'm not going to do analysis on Tesla right now, but obviously it was a key area that was holding here, and then resistance, and broke through it. So it just flipped this number 250, 235 to 236 right back into resistance again. Thoughts on the day: SPY, break and retest trade, go long off of this, and we'll leave it at that and have a great Friday. Be in Disney World with the kids and grandkids next week, by the way, so I don't know if I'll be doing any videos